Hello, everyone. How is everyone feeling? I hope you're doing great. This is going to be my 286th presentation, and it will be on the goddess Atargatis. So, this card, Atargatis, is the Princess of Wands, and it comes from the Barbara Walker Tarot. Very beautiful deck. Now, the second beautiful, absolutely gorgeous card comes from this deck. Comes from Goddesses of the World by Welmy, Sasha, and Sylvia Damiano. So check them out at your local bookstore, local occult store, local new age store, or, if you can't find them at a local business, and check them out on Amazon or eBay, and you won't be disappointed. So what? Atargatis. She is a very prominent. She was a very prominent. She is still honored today by people, but she was an ancient goddess, one of the main goddesses of Syria. Atargatis is, I don't want to say she is the first mermaid, but she's definitely the first mermaid written down in historical texts. Because there's other cultures that had mermaid goddesses, but we'll just say the first written account of mermaids. Sorry, Disney, but it's not you. It's not Ariel. So Atargatis, her consort, was a mortal shepherd named Hadad. And in Syria, he was mortal. But we know of Baal Hadad because we talked about it we talked about Baal and Astarte. We talked about Tanit. But this is a mermaid goddess. And she is associated with women and children, fertility, protection, pregnancy, fertility of the land and of animals, and pregnancy of women and protecting pregnant women, justice and order and social order, protection. And she becomes from where she was seen as holy as a woman later on, through her sadness of where she tried to just off herself and rid herself and drown herself, where the gods and goddesses, the divine that would, the powers that be did not want her gone, so they changed her part human and part fish, unless it was the powerful waters itself. So through tragedy, she made a transformation. Now, interesting enough is that those who were in the worship or cult or whatever you want to call it, I'm not calling about crazy cult, not crazy culty, but the cult of Atargatis is pretty much the people would not eat doves, nor would they eat fish, because those were the main sacred animals to her. In fact, in her temple, fish were kept in like a sacred pool or pond that they had, and only her clergy were allowed to touch them. No one was allowed to hurt them. Now, I did hear that once in a while there may have been rituals where they did god eating, where they would eat the fish, but I'm not 100% sold on that. But it could very well be. Another animals that have been associated with her are lions, for she sits on a throne, and the throne had images of lions. She was also worshipped in Rome. Her when the Romans came, and then when the Greeks came, she was associated with their keto. Some people call it Derceto, but they believe it's pronounced Derketo, as the mermaid goddess. There are ancient coins that are depicting this goddess as, silver coins with the mermaid on. Go check them out. They're actually pretty. I wish I had one. I would love to have had one. Um, yeah. So she's associated, her element is, of course, water. She's associated with the Pisces constellation. And I guess she also deals with the lunar powers, the powers of the moon. But she is definitely lunar. She could be also associated with Neptune. I wouldn't doubt that in the least. At least now in modern times. Her main sanctuary in Syria was uh, Hierapolis, Hierapolis, and that's in present day Manbij, which is no, not northwest. Yeah, northeast of Aleppo, which is Aleppo is the capital of Syria, of modern day Syria. But they also found, uh, and that was Loki gracing us with his divine presence. He just wants to say hello to everybody, and he wants to say hello to Atargatis, and she says hello to him. So Loki says greetings to everybody. So just bear with me. I'm having a little bit of an allergy. And so just a little bit under the weather. So yeah. So let's talk about her tragedy. So her love became a tragedy, like Romeo and Juliet, a tragedy. So not exactly the same. So for some reason, none of the gods, or she just didn't feel attracted to any of the gods, but she spied upon a beautiful, handsome, gorgeous man. His name was Hadad, and he was a shepherd. And she fell in love with him, but he was human. She would visit him, but during her lovemaking with him, her divine powers was too much, and he died. And this is one of the major stories about her, she was distraught. She was during such sadness and under the strain of duress. She went to the waters of Ascalon, and she wanted to drown herself. She just didn't want to be. But the powers that be and the waters of the Ashkelon, transformed her bottom half into the tail of a fish, and her upper half. She remained her beauty. And she's beautiful all over, but she still remained human. And she was still worshipped She also gives the blessings of fortune and well being and prosperity. So do remember that even though, fishing was done, her worshippers would not eat the fish, nor doves. And they also found evidence of worship even in Israel. Yes, even in Israel. So, of course, her magical creatures deal with the merfolk. So, mermaids, mermen will be associated with this goddess. We see that she is more serene and calm here, but here we see her, even though she could be very serene, we do see a little spiciness to her character, let's just say here. So she does bless marriages and relationships. And her priest, her male priest, that they would sometimes immolate themselves for her. They sometimes bit themselves. And they also, I can't say all the clergy, but they definitely cut off their members and became eunuchs. And sometimes they would take the mannerism of a woman. They would dress more as feminine to become more in contact with her. So Ashkelon is actually a lake. I almost said an ocean, but Ashkelon is a lake. So she does know the when she went through this duress or sadness, when we lose someone we love, we can, you know, she will understand us. And she knows the pain of guilt, and she knows the pain of anguish, and she knows the pain of loss. So if we ever feel like we want to end it all because of loss, definitely reach out to someone, a friend, a family member, someone that you trust. And if you have to, then get on the phone with some information or call an emergency services, you know, contact a therapist, because suicide, once you complete it, they ain't coming back from that. Not in this life. All right? So, yes, she is majestic. She is beautiful. She's able to captivate hearts. And yes, she was a major, major goddess. Very major. From what I understand, even mentioned in the Bible. With the Bible. But yeah, so let's look a little bit about this card. Might as well. And I'm going to read from this book, Goddesses of the World. I'm really glad I got this card, and it was worth every cent of this. That's just my opinion. I can't find the card number. Oh, is it number 2? Is that no, that's number 8. So let's go to number 8. Here we are. The Syrian goddess of love and fertility calls you to celebrate the sacredness of love and desire. Tap into the energy of passion and sensuality. Let her guidance inspire you to express your desires authentically and forge connections that ignite the flames of intimacy and affection. So yes, she can be used in friendship, especially friendship with friends with benefit spells. She can be due for romance and sex and to find your forever partner, your wife, your husband. She can be used for beauty spells and to enhance your beauty, inner and outer beauty. She is a goddess to deal with romance and passion. So if we look at the Barbara Walker, I'll read a little bit from this. I really love this card. I've had this for so long. And I'll read a little bit from this. Just bear with me while I find it. I know my nose is a little bit uh, stuck up there. Princess of Wands, right? And here we are. Suit of Wands. Just bear with me, and I'll read you a little bit of this. Here we are, Atargatis. I need some light with my bad eyes. Floating between sun and moon, the sea goddess represents both giving and taking. Her traditional breast offering pose, countered by the dangerous devouring vagina, dentata, like other forms of the Middle Eastern goddess, Atargatis, Astarte, Ishtar stood for both nurture and destruction. At Der in at Der in Babylon, she devoured the phallic god Wanus and gave him rebirth. A myth later repeated as the biblical story of Jonah. Her card means irresistible power, a perilous compulsion, symbolized by another of her totems. So I don't know why they associate with the spider. Though risky, her path might bring great rewards. Maybe Barbara Walker knew something I didn't know. I don't know. No offense, but nowhere in my research have I seen her associate with a spider. However, I love this deck, and I've used this deck. Uh, so she is connected to the Bronze Age, and she was worshipped individually from other goddesses for way over 1,500 years, especially before Christ. But people associate her with Aphrodite. They try to associate her with Re and associate her with Hera. They try to associate her with Astarte and Inanna. And I see her different than Inanna and Astarte. I do see some connections, but I see her different. And now also people, maritime sailors and modern day navy and anyone who works fishing, whether you're on like Lake Pontchartrain or out in the Gulf or out in the Atlantic or Pacific, okay, you're working out in the sea, she can be your patron, patroness, matron, whatever you want to say it, goddess, to help protect. And she did, back in the day, offer protection to those who prayed and gave her offerings. So she was, she became in northern, especially northern Syria culture. Artagatis took the central role as the primary deity. Like I said, she was a major goddess, and she was the sustenance of life. She was a nurturer. She was a preserver. She was represented and worshipped and honored and respected as a guardian of the Syrian culture, the people, and its area and its people. She brought to them happiness, protection, prosperity, and bounty. Lots and lots and lots of bounty. And I'm not talking about bounty towels. Okay, I'm being dumb. But bounty, yes. Bounty and commerce. So, yes, commerce. She took the well being of society and the community. So she is a goddess who took on transformation, where now she's part human and part fish, part of society and part nature. She represents metamorphosis, morphing and changing. She capable of profound love and profound sorrow. She's a goddess who transformed through grief, maybe into something even more powerful, dealing with land and sea, both land and sea. Yes. So she is a goddess who did care about her people and capable of great love and of great comfort when we need to cry to her, when we need to seek her favor, blessings, and protection, even into modern day. So, yes, even Lake Ashkelon in Syria is where she was also considered very sacred there. And these places, back in ancient times, served as uh, sites for pilgrims to come to worship her on these holy grounds. Loki, where's your Bali? I see you want to play. You want to play fetch. Loki wants attention. So he's going to play fetch. Oops. So, things, what should I, things that we can offer Atargatis. We can offer her water, fresh and seawater. We can offer her a variety of water with different salts. You can make special, we can get Himalayan salt, mix it in the water, Celtic sea salt. Just, she likes variety. She also likes, she is a goddess of variety. She does like things of luxury. And because she deals with luxury, so she can help you luxury. Give her things that are luscious, petite fours, some nice pastries, chocolate, especially really nice stuff like Queen Anne chocolate, Godiva, Ferrero Rocher, mint chocolate. Maybe some nice truffles. And if you can't afford that, that's fine. Maybe you can get her some symphony, the symphony bar, one of those luxury bars. You know, you can give her perfumes. She does like perfumes. She does like little trinkets. You can give her coins and jewelry. You know, maybe some pearls. Other things that you can do for her is to give to societies and charities that help save the sharks, save our fish from overfishing, to clean up the oceans if you're at the beach. Pick up some trash. Just make sure you don't get sick, like, needles and stuff. But yeah, to help clean up, save the shores, the sea lines, the not sea lines, the sea, the shore, the beach, the coast from filth. And don't trash it. So you can make a beautiful ocean scene for her altar. You can also dedicate a fish tank to her and put fish in if you like fish. So if you want, maybe put some starfish or fish and some seahorses. Maybe you like that, and you take good care of them and dedicate them to her. You can name them whatever you want. I don't know. You can have Sammy the fish. I don't know. But protect them, take good care of them, and you can actually use that. You could put it like maybe a little image above the fish tank and use that as your altar to her. Just don't drop the chocolate and food in there, or, you know, you could put it above the fish tank and put, her offerings there. But just know that they will be sacred to her, and it would be like the time of the priest, just don't eat fish. But I'm not saying don't eat fish. I eat fish. So, but I'm just saying that, be aware. And you can put little images of doves there, and you can get, like, maybe print one of these out, or make a copy of this, buy the card and make a copy. You don't have to put the card up and sacrifice the card if you want to do it in readings, but you can use it as her focal point. And whales and fish, whales are not fish, whales are mammals, but sea mammals and shellfish and fish are her creatures. So you can feed your fish in the name of Atargatis, and do that as an offering. Literally, fish food to your fish. So we can do this in her name. And it could be fresh. You can have freshwater fish, saltwater fish. It doesn't matter. Just take good care of them. And you can do that for her. Now, we know Baal Hadad is a god of storms and stuff, but in Syria he seemed to have been mortal. Did he die and become a god? In so, but there's different stories with there's Baal Hadad, there's Baal Hadad, there's Baal Peor, there's different Baals out there, and Baal means Lord. Baal means God. Deals with God and Lord. There's also a goetic spirit named Baal, Baal. So, those who. She did have wonderful, beautiful temples. They were grand temples, and it had gold in it. So, when you think about it, you can give her gold as well as not just silver, but also gold. So, around her worship was definitely BCE. And she may have also she may have also had some association with warfare, as very possible. I'm not 100% sure, but it wouldn't surprise me. However, some of these deities have lost that over time, and other things about a deity may have been more embellished or more pronounced. So we can also decorate her altars and give her beautiful shells. Beautiful things with shells. You can give her maybe a wind chime made of shells, or you know, give her put conch there. You find you can also leave, like for hermit crabs, you can leave some shells for them, because I noticed that hermit crabs are now, like when they leave their shell, they go into this bottle caps and stuff, which is no good for them or for nature. So just leave some shells out for them. Maybe go, buy some at a dollar store and put some where there's going to be crabs that will be looking to molt to a new shell. You can do that in her name. So she does deal with sustaining of life. And she can be very loving, very caring, and very gentle. Is she approachable? Oh, yes, she is. Yes, she is. So we can definitely I can associate the full moon with her and the waxing moon. So feel free to if you're doing a full moon ritual, feel free to next full moon ritual do it over with her, especially if you're at the beach and you see the full moon, and you can worship the glories of Atargatis. No matter where you're at, in Ireland, England, America, if you're somewhere where it's dominated by religions that hate paganism, just be careful, but feel free. Doesn't matter, wherever you are. And you don't have to be very noticeable in doing this. You know, you can even just pour some water out on the beach. Just make sure you're not breaking any laws. I mean, we can, I know some people offer stuff like watermelon to deities that deal with the water. Like watermelons is a good idea. Cucumbers have a lot of water, and star fruit known to have a lot of water in them. So, and those are really, she will find absolutely delicious. Another way to honor her is a local pond will put bread in the water. Put some fish feed in the water or things that fish can eat, and you could just get some fish food at a pet store, and just, it doesn't have to be expensive, and just feed fish. Feed the doves. Don't feed them bread because it's not good for them. It's better for them to eat frozen peas, or healthy things that a bird can eat. I mean, seeds for a pet bird. I don't care how expensive it is. It's it's a good treat, but it shouldn't be the only food they eat. But you can feed them seeds as a treat, to birds outside. I know some people do bread still, but it should just be like, it just makes them fat. Gives them diabetes and stuff. I know sometimes some people have, and they just give it to them, but frozen peas are good. No, rice is not good for birds to eat. I know they have a certain type of rice they use. Okay, so during weddings, when you grow rice and they eat these rice, they expand in their bellies and hurt them. So now there's a type of rice that you can buy specifically for weddings that will not hurt the wildlife, and that will be safe. So just keep that in mind too. So, oil lamps and incense are good offerings, and that was used in ancient times. Of course, incense and oil lamps, but blue candles and blue green candles, and all shades of things dealing with the like blue green is a great shade of candles to burn to her, as well as blue and white. Beautiful ideas for candle choice for her. So, uh, Atargatis was also worshipped at the Europos. That was a city by or on the Euphrates River, another place where she was worshipped. Sanctuary at Delos. That is an island in the Aegean Sea. Is another place where her sanctuary where she was worshipped there. So we see that she wasn't just worshipped at just one, local spot. So her worship was carried out as people, like, when they came to Syria, and they were profoundly affected by her, and for maybe she blessed them or answered and gave a boon to them, and they carried her worship to where they went. So her worship spread. There were tablets that were pretty much inscribed with devotion and prayers. There were votive statues found in archaeological sites, and there were sacrificial altars to her. and altars to her. So Atargatis always comes as a beautiful woman in her prime, in her glory and beauty. So if I had to associate her with maiden, warrior, mother, crone, sovereign, queen, I could see her as a queen. I could see her also as a maiden, not young girl, but also very motherly. Semiramis was Semiramis was a daughter Drew I almost forgot about this. Drew Hadad, her relationship with Hadad, and when she decided to rid herself or try to rid herself, it was said that Semiramis, who became a legendary queen, was cared for by doves. So her daughter was Semiramis, and like I said, who became a queen. So trying to think of what else I want to talk about her. And no, I do not write take notes and but yeah, I don't use notes. So basically Semiramis was a legendary queen and also the wife of Ones and Ninos. So anyways, I think that's all I want to really talk about Atargatis. I've been talking for about 43 minutes. But, anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this presentation. And, yeah, this deck comes from here, the book by Barbara Walker. And this card comes from the Goddesses of the World. Absolutely beautiful. About My Brain Institute. You see? About My Brain Institute, created with love on the Gold Coast. So you can look up their website, www.aboutmybrain.com. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because that's the way you can pay me. I am not making any money from YouTube. Not yet. I need more subscribers. And if I do decide to make money from my channel, these will always be free. I'm not going to do a Patreon account where I'll just give you extra stuff. You know, if you give me money. I mean, there are people who do that. That's great. I totally support that. But I'm here to teach you, and the only thing that's required of you is your time. So, in honor of Atargatis, let's be mindful of what we do to our oceans, the water. Let's be mindful of it. The money you would give to me, use it to help society, organizations that clean up the water and keep our waters clean for our next generation and the generation after that. Thank you as always. Please share my video with your friends and family and your internet and of whatever, Facebook or whatever. And as always, blessed be.